Good morning, how y'all doing? So in NBA playoffs last night, both the road teams won, and that's been the theme in the second round so far. The road teams have won. Um, Both the Celtics and the Thunder lost. The Celtics got beat by the Knicks in overtime. Nambi and Brunson came up with 29 points each. The big story is the Boston played without Porzingis, and that could be a problem in this series because I think that the more scoring power, that's the one thing that gives uh, Boston the balance. Tatum and Brown each scored like 23 each, but it was just a few costly plays. The Knicks just came with a lot of grit. Josh Hart was doing to do his best Dennis Rodman impersonation as he was swarming the boards. Um, he got really physical, and the Knicks got a big playoff win. Seven-man rotation came in handy. Now I got asked, did I think the Knicks had a chance in this series? I said, yeah, if they play where they get contributions, if they can score, the key for them will be the contributions from the others. Really, this is where Shaq makes a valid point because you know that Cat's got to come up big and Brunson, but they need the others. And I think Bridges played like 50 minutes, but he had like 8 points. But you got to score against Boston, and you got to get a couple of stops along the way because it's going to be a mano series. So for the Knicks coming off that hard, scrappy first round against the Pistons, I think this is a pattern. I know that all those teams that won thus far had those scrappy first rounds, and it's kind of carried over. I noticed that with the Pacers had it pretty easy against Milwaukee, but the you know these two games in particular, the Knicks with the going against Detroit in the first round, the scrappiness got them prepared for this one. They were able to scrap it out against Boston, and it takes those kind of battles because you got to play at your best. This is not going to be an easy series, so and it's just one game, but it was a good way for the Knicks to get on a start, doing enough of the things that they did. Just like Denver coming back against OKC, um, Shea at 30 and 10, and they missed a lot of free throws, but it was a pretty evenly killed on their side. Now Denver on the other side, Jokic at 42 and 22, and I got asked, was this going to be like Hakeem Olajuwon versus Dave Robinson with the payback for the MVP? I don't want to say it's going to be a payback for MVP because that's very, one of those things that's subjective. I do think Shea should have got the MVP. I got no problem with that. But I said as far as the team goes, see, a lot of the people that are big fans of Jokic don't want to admit that A, they don't finish up chippy games, and B, this is one of the reasons why Mike Malone got fired. They did not finish up games the right way. Had they finished up games the right way, they would have been second seed and they would have been ahead of Houston. They lost about 6 or 7 games just not finishing up those chippy games. And Aaron Gordon has been a hero in his playoffs, coming up with game-winning shots, i.e. the dunk in the first round against the Clippers in the playoff game, and then last night with that three-pointer. This is what they should be doing. Now Michael Porter Jr. only had 2 points, so I keep saying they got to get contributions because they got the front line size. They've got a starting five where everybody can give you 15. So they got to utilize what they got. If they dominate with what they got, they can win. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's not a winnable series. Because it is a winnable series. And with the way Jokic plays and with the kind of talent they got, they should come out. But sometimes it's a matter of effort and putting down forth what you have. So very impressive that they were pulling that game out. And also KC missed some free throws. It could be again jitters, and you're playing against a better level of competition. So we're gonna see what the adjustments are. I just think that the Celtics just have to make sure that they play some defense and finish up because that's one of the things about making sure that you get the physicality, and that's what was the difference. That they got boarded and they got caught off guard with that. The Knicks really, that's what the Knicks got to do. And as far as OKC and Denver, you get your free throws, and you gotta, match them mano a mano, and get them on the, beat them with your bench and balance it out. So it's interesting start so far. I don't read a whole lot into a 1-0 start, but it's very noticeable that 3 straight games the road team has won so far in the second round. So we'll see if that trend continues with the other games. But anyway, very impressive. And first game losers were the Celtics and the Thunder, which I don't say very often. So we'll see what kind of adjustments gets done. Because I do think there will be a couple of adjustments that have to be made, but it's far from over. Unless, of course, these teams lose both games at home, and that's a whole other totality. But we'll see. But let me know what your thoughts are so far after the game one of round two. Celtics and the Thunder lose both the games. The winners were the New York Knicks and the Denver Nuggets. So we'll see. Jokic had a monster game, and we'll see how everything goes from here on out with that, though. But Darren Gordon came in up big again. And I said that's what it takes for Denver to win. They're going to need the others to do it. So we'll see. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like it. The membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. On my one-time peace.